Well, I'm doing this on Memorial Day, and unfortunately, I'm going to remember this weekend all too well. I'd like to thank everyone for their kind words and condolences about the loss of my good friend Gary Kent. But it wasn't only my loss. It was a huge loss to the film community, the Grindhouse community, and to all of us fans in general. Gary was a one of a kind. He was just every man. He just did everything. And I was just talking to my partner in Grindhouse Resurrection, John Schatzer, and we have decided to dedicate issue 3 to the life of Gary Kent. That's not to say I'm not going to knock anybody's stuff out that was already submitted. If I have to go over budget on this one, I will. But I really feel that it's the right thing to do is to dedicate a magazine to Gary, because he was a big contributor on my other magazine, and I have some stuff that he did which I'm going to include in this magazine, as well as John's going to write something, I believe, on Schoolgirls in Chains. Nick Canales got a hold of me. He wants to do a career retrospective. Whatever. We're going to do Gary right in this one. It's just a shame, that a guy like him, and he did get some good press on the West Coast. The Hollywood Reporter, Variety, and others really did him right. Unfortunately, the evening news, which only covers the big stars like Jim Brown and Tina Turner, which unfortunately they're no longer with us, nothing was said about Gary. Nothing at all, which kind of sucks. And, some of these certain convention that he used to appear at a lot, nothing was ever said there, even though fans have mentioned that they had met him there and interacted with him there and became friends with him there. And even the people that are selling his book haven't said anything. So I don't understand this whole thing. When John and I were talking, we said that, I guess the word was incredibly blessed that we, were in touch with a lot of these guys over the years, like myself. I considered Dave Friedman, Ted Michaels, Sid Haig, Gary, of course, Bud Cardos, and others as friends, and we always talked, and they were always on my former radio show a lot. And like I said, we were blessed to be able to interact with our heroes and actually, work with them on a one-on-one basis. And like I said, Gary had been over my house a couple times to play with my dogs whenever he was in the area. We spoke on the phone at least once a week. Even when he was in, the situation that he was in, I tried to call him at least every day till he got to the point where he couldn't pick up anymore, which kind of sucked. But I know he's in a better place now. I have to believe that. He went through a lot of stuff in his life. Like I said, he did it all, and we're not going to forget him. This magazine will be a tribute to him, and we got some other things going on involving him that are going to wind up in the magazine, including a really good cover that will, showcase his work. So that's going to come up. The other thing is, this Thursday will be June 1st, and it's start of Pride Month. And I honestly do not understand all the vitriol aimed at the gay, lesbian, and transgender community by certain people. This country has a lot of problems. Foremost, drugs, homelessness, veterans homelessness, uncontrollable gun violence, you name it. But it seems that the focus of our next election, boys and girls, is going to be on making abortion completely illegal and going after the gay, lesbian, and transgender communities. We have a guy in Florida, I'm going to call him Rhonda D. Satan, who is running, and Rhonda is rabidly anti-transgender. And to me, there has to be a reason for that. And it's been proven, not only by me, by other people, that basically when somebody is rabidly against something, he has something to hide. And I'll go right on record as saying right now, I'm willing to bet that Ronnie is in the closet. That's right. I think Ronnie is one of those self-loathing, closeted gay men that can't admit to what he is. And the other big mouth is Marjorie Green Taylor, who, when I look at her, when I look at a transgendered lady, I'd rather date the transgendered lady. That's simple. And again, I don't know why this is a focal point of an election, but if this is what I got to put up with for the next 2 years, I won't be watching the news too much. I have gay, lesbian, and transgendered fans and friends that support my work. When I did Pollen, my co-star was a gay guy who I'm still friends with today, and we still talk. So there's no issues on my part, regardless of what certain people may spew their bile because they got issues with me. I'm not a homophobe, I'm not a racist, and I'm not a transphobe. I worked in New York, I worked for liquidators, I worked in the porn business. If you want to stay in that business, you have to be open to everything, and I was. So like I said, there's no issues on my part. I just will support Pride Month, and I will hang a flag out in front of my house, and if somebody's got an issue with it, fuck you. Another thing, I'm going this, because this is just a random rant here right about now. Don't you think that porn will be the next target of these people? Because they want everything the way it was back in the 50s, boys and girls. They want, basically, if they could bring back slavery, they would. They would. That's what we're dealing with. That's the mentality we're dealing with. Marjorie Green Taylor claims she ain't a white supremacist. Marjorie, you're as white as rice, and you are a white supremacist. We know that. You've proven it. But again, going back in the day, and going over to New York, I started going over to like maybe 66, and there was no really hardcore stuff there. And you had to be 21 to walk in an adult bookstore. Well, me, I was 6'2" when I was in high school, so I looked a lot older. So we were always looking for stuff. And the strange thing was, you'd walk down 42nd Street, and there'd be all these little hole-in-the-wall bookstores like, PIA Books, G&A, whatever, and stuff like that. But then there was Midtown Books, little hole in the wall. And I can remember, going in there, and we're looking around, and we sort of hinted that, we were looking for the better stuff. And this one guy walked up to me and says, okay, you want to come in the back room? So he put his arm around me, and little did I know, because I was naive, that he was basically patting me down to see if I had a gun or see if I was a cop. And it wound up that this guy was, in fact, Bobby Soretsky, who, if you read that book, Times Square, he was one of those guys that was involved in a murder for a hire deal on 42nd Street, along with Martin Hodas and a couple other people. So it's a great book if you can find it. It's probably out of print. But anyway, he takes me into the back room, and there's these books about this size in plastic bags with a hardcore whatever is inside them. Now I'm going to show you this thing here. It's called Masochism, Love of Pain, a photo-illustrated socio-sex study of masochistic impulse of modern man in words and pictures by Harvey M. Johns, M.A. Educational material for adults only, sales to minors prohibited. Now I'm going to put that up, as you can see that. Okay? You can see what it is, and you can also see the price is like $4 and change. Well, I can't show you the inside, but this thing is packed with hardcore photos. Packed. And this was copyright 1971 Socio Library, Post Office Box, whatever it is, North Park Station, San Diego, California. So there was no place. These were basically, they were brought in by the mob. They might have been printed by the mob. Because even on the back it says, the dark subject that often defies examination and exposure, that shocking realm of human sexuality which orgasmic pleasure and pain is now brought into focus, excuse me, explores the foundations of the world of sadomasochism. Yeah, $4.75. Remember that price. What they would do was, they would rub that out and put a $20 price on it. And we would pay it, because that's all we could get. So, that was around, I'm thinking, high school, 68, 69, maybe 70. We would go in there, we would buy these things, and of course, it was the masturbation mobile here. I'd have them for a while, give them to somebody else, they'd give me my stuff, whatever, we'd trade them off. Then we'd sell them to those less fortunate than we are and take the money and go buy more shit. So, that's how it was done back then. Then, of course, like I said, hardcore crept into the mainstream with Deep Throat and Devil and Miss Jones and stuff, and things became more open. But, like I said, most of these stores were basically, they show magazines with beaver shots and stuff like that, and full frontal nudity and whatever, but you really had to, know somebody or mention that you did have money on you, so you could basically get the better stuff. So that's a little slip back into time there, and, it may go back to that. Who the hell knows? I mean, they've already said, this has been bouncing around for years, that they want to get rid of internet porn. Well, when they get rid of internet porn, they go after everything else. We've all seen what eBay's done. We've all seen what Amazon's done. Little by little, they're eliminating the stuff. That's how these guys work. And of course, they're fronted by corporate America, and corporate America doesn't want to sell smut unless they make money on it, so they'll figure that out too. So, that's our show for today. Again, you know, my sincerest thanks for all your well wishes and condolences about Gary. But like I say, it's a great loss to all of us, and he will never be forgotten. And like I say, Grindhouse Resurrection 3 will be a homage to Gary Warner Kent. So until next time, thanks for subscribing. Stay safe, and we'll catch you on the flip side.